can't really ever contest the wave because you're just spinning on it, and the same thing can be said for Darkseer. So it would be an interesting matchup if we do end up seeing the Axe versus Darkseer, and I do think Nip would be well served to go aggressive with this lane. It is very strong.
Here we go with the final pick. Seema the Slayer on the Shadow Demon as we get ourselves ready to go into the game here. The second in a two-game series here between NIP and Vega. Of course, the first game was given to NIP due to Vega turning up to the game over 10 minutes late, which was indeed in the rule book. So we're just playing by the rules here, boys. Playing by the rules. Nothing to see here. So game two, Vega going into it. They've got that tiny hoe that we saw be very strong for them in the first series today. The question is, do NIP have the draft to deal with it? What are they looking for that's going to get the momentum swinging the most in favor of NIP?
I think the aggressive tri-lane from Nip should be very hard to deal with for Vega. I mean, you can move the Wisp, but then it's a Tiny versus a Puck, and yeah, okay, maybe the Tiny still farms, but I think Vega are going to be more reliant on their mid-game than their laning phase. So we will see how it ends up working out.
Potential level 1 engagement here. Unison fan, he's looking for 9. Pasha was actually looking for the battle hunger there to enable them to close the gap, but it's not going to be the case. And with that said and done, let's get ourselves familiarized with who is on what. On the side of NIP, it's going to be Unison fan here on the Axie. We'll now find the battle hunger, and maybe this will be enough for NIP to get themselves in position. Seema trying to juke it out into the jungle. The connection is going to block him off from base. With the decay on him, he'll defensively disrupt himself, but he's almost certainly dying here, and he certainly is. Who are they going to let it go to? It's going to be Unison fan picking that one up. First blood to the side of NIP, and off the back of that, let's introduce the rest of the team. It's Hansken on your Undying, Error on his Gyrocopter, Limp on his signature puck, and Sealkid finally on the Disruptor. I'm OD Pixel, I'm here with Draskell. Draskell, what are we seeing from Vega?
We got Solo handling the Wisp. Going to have Slardar, played by Nan Pasha, who's also making his way towards top. No one playing on the Tiny. And then towards the base, we're going to have Seema, the Slayer. He's going to be playing on that Shadow Demon. And then finally, Mag. He's going to be handling the Shadow Demon.
Mag on the Shadow Demon?
Or, sorry, Darkseer. I was looking at Shadow Demon and I saw Mag's name, and then I just said what my eyes saw instead of what my brain should have said.
Oh, Andy. It's
unfortunate.
It's alright. And lane-wise,
they're actually dual off laning.
Indeed, it's not going to be the aggressive trial as such that we may have expected.
I think maybe Hansken will lead this lane at some point. Because Vega wanted to dodge. They did not want to go up against a Nip tri-lane. It's way too strong, right? So no matter where you go, you want to make sure that the Slardar is having a bad time. But I guess if it's going to be a Gyrocopter versus Slardar, that's still very favored for the Gyro.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it will be in there. They are keeping the lanes as they are. We do now see, as you're saying, Undying make his way up to the top lane from the bottom lane, just crossing past the mid lane. Solo playing very aggressively. There'll be a toss onto Limp. Hansken just drops down the decay onto time, but will continue his journey up towards the top lane. So I mean, as we were saying, well, as you were saying, Darkseer can be dealt with if you are an Axe.
Yeah, but the thing is, he has to get to a point to where, like, Mag is only going to Ion Shell his friendly creeps, and that's his entire strategy, right? So you kind of have to get to a point where Mag has to walk back between his towers to Ion Shell. That way, you stop him from being able to, like, hold his tower. You're creep cutting, and you kill the creep wave before it, like, obviously the tower pushes in. That's how creep cutting works. But you can't just do it like this, because he'll just take residual damage by tanking the creep waves. Like, Mag has the advantage because he's always pushing the wave. Like, Jonas needs to, like, sack one wave and go between the tier 1 and the tier 2. I think, and that's the way that you would deal with it.
Okay, and well, towards this top ring here, we've seen a bit of a fight kick off here. If they're going to contest for this one, Sealkid coming in as well with the kinetic kill. Will be able to trap the Tiny. Solo's going to get brought down now with the tombstone on the high ground. This Tiny's not in a good position. He'll go down as well. 2 minutes in, that's the power of the Undying. You just need a couple of levels, a point into decay, a point into tombstone, and suddenly you're taking fights just like that.
Now, life is really hard right now if you're Vega. We did say their early game wasn't super important. They do have a Tiny Wisp, and they do have Slardar for mid-game, so it's not as if they can't do anything, but I think their top lane's not even going that well.
Alright, Pasha's going to find a crush onto Error, but Error and Sealkid, they're looking for the killer onto Slardar. There'll be a disruption holding back the Gyro, but Pasha's going to still tick down here to the Thunderstrike. Seema the Slayer will look to TP out. It looks like he'll make it. They've got no way to stop it. But another kill going to the side of NIP, and with 2.5 minutes in it, it's 4 for 0 at the moment. Every lane across the board going very well for the Dire.
Well, the one lane, actually, that's doing okay is safe lane. Like, Mag is having an okay time against Jonas right now. He's not been able to really push out the wave as far as he wants to. His tower is actually the one taking damage instead of the Darkseers, and this one I think is pretty tough for the Axe if he's being pushed in constantly. But if he can get into a good position in the lane, it might be a bit easier for him to come back. Like, he can even pull the creep wave as well. He wants the lane to push out, because that way you don't have to deal with the shells under your tower. And it's more like Mag is the one who's going to have to be using shell to push you off the wave.
Okay, and I mean, top lane, the Slaughter, he's still finding the farm here. You know, he's got his 13 CS, he's keeping even with the gyrocopter. But obviously at the deficit there, he has been taken down once. I recommend him with the sickles there. Giving him a bit of a shot. Mid lane, Tiny versus Lib. Still an advantage for Vega in terms of farm, but it is the fact that NIP have found these kills. That's given them a bit of a booster here in this laning stage.
Now, the fact that the Axe got free Tranquils because he got the first split on the Shadow Demon, like, that's a big deal for him. That means Jonas, no matter what, he'll probably never be forced back completely. And I guess farming under the tower isn't so bad. His tower is only taking a couple of shots right now. And I thought he was going to go, like, try to do offensive pulling, but I guess the camp is blocked, so he can't do that.
Oh, Sima looking for a disruption on spot. Isn't going to find it. Silky's going to drop down the kinetic field here. There's going to be the backup of the IO to help out its Shadow Demon. But Hans going to limp. We're going to be there. So Shadow Demon can't fight. He's going to get brought back into it from the glimpse. The slow from the zombies holding him in place. It's a killing spree for Undying. And it looks like they'll find Solo here as well as they go forward on the puck. Limp picks that one up. 2 more kills here for the side of NIP. As again, this mid lane kind of area around this rune spot seems to be a position that Vega, they want to kind of avoid these fights in because they're not going great.
The Shadow Demon just seems a bit weird to me. Like, I get the idea of having Shadow Demon into a stun, but I think Dazzle would have been a much more stable pick in this early game when you're playing against an Undying, because a disruption very seldom saves you in these early game engagements. Like, if you get caught out, like, self-disrupting is almost just like killing yourself against Nip's team. So what is it really offering? If you had Dazzle, you could put Slardar Dazzle against the Axe. He can't really go aggressive against that because you get healed on if you're tanking the creep wave. And then you could have Mag just idly pushing out top lane. I don't know how the Shadow Demon is supposed to fit. That's kind of the biggest beef that I have right now with Vega's lineup.
It certainly doesn't seem to be the start that Vega were looking for into this game. But still, the farm is certainly there. CS-wise, they're doing fine. Not really getting zoned out of their lanes as such. Just a fair few kills going towards the side of NIP. But as we were saying, the draft of Vega is going to be very strong once they get that IO relocate up, and they're going to be able to look for the ganks across the map. And against the side as well that, other than the Undying getting the decay stacks and the Axe, I mean, Disruptor, Jar, and Puck, they're pretty squishy.
Yeah, they are. There is definite possibility for the Tiny combo to come in and to blow some heroes up. There's no doubt about that. But we're quite a ways away from the Wisp being able to relocate the Tiny, and they're still only level 4. It's going to be 6 minutes into the game pretty soon. And I don't think Vega are really going to be looking to play aggressive, at least until they start getting those levels up on the Tiny, because he is their kill potential, more or less. He definitely needs to be like 7 or 8.
Mag potentially getting caught out here. The Berserker's Call will miss. The kinetic field forcing Mag to TP himself away, and he's going to be able to get out. There's nothing there to cancel that. So all in all, an unfortunate little play from their NIP there, but Vega managed to avoid losing yet another hero.
Yeah, that was the best of a bad situation for Mag. He glimpsed a bit preemptively, and that cast point, man, the Berserker's Call just missing so often lately. It really does feel like a tenth of a second.
It affects a fair few plays this series.
It's all the time in the world.
Really is the bottom lane. We see Undying has TP'd down here. Jonas and Fat maybe looking to go aggressive and see if he can find a call onto Nine Pasha. Contemplating diving the tower here, but he's got to be a little bit aware of potential TP reactions. There is going to be a TP coming in now from Sima on the Shadow Demon, so it's going to be a little bit harder for Axe and Undying to find any action down in the bottom lane. Maybe they look towards the mid lane here with this rotation.
Yeah, I think actually ganking is going to be tough, but if they find the stack, oh my god, that would be so bad.
There's going to be a dream cooldown as well as Error's rotated in towards the mid lane. They're looking for Tiny, who throws out the avalanche. It will be phase shifted. There's your dunk from the Axe, and then Hanskem finishing off the IO as well. Both IO and Tiny going.
Oh my god,
down.
are they going to spot the stack?
Oh, this, if they find this stack.
No, this is so bad for Vega. This is so bad. Do they have enough health to tank it though? That's the question. The Axe is at half HP.
He's got a couple of pulls available in his mana.
The This is really bad. This is so bad. Like, this is how Tiny was supposed to get his way back into the game. You know, when you go mid on Tiny IO, you sack the jungle to make sure you can hit 6, even if your lane doesn't go great for you. And Seema's in the area, but he needs to be careful.
Yeah, he's on his own, eh? On the high ground, just scouting out the damage that NRP are doing here. And, well, mid lane, there's going to be an avalanche on her hands, Ken. Might get himself in position for the follow-up toss. But all in all, things looking a little bit grim here for Vega.
It is not a good start, that's for sure. Like, you're playing against a lineup right now that maybe has a slight advantage over you in the early game, but not an 8-0 advantage at 8 minutes. Like, that's insane to lose that many heroes so early on. And again, Jonas, he's only 400 away from his Blink Dagger, and he already has Tranquils on top of that. Pasha's having a really hard time farming anywhere, although if the Zac stays around too long,
I was going to need to be careful. There's a large rotation here coming from the side of Vega, but Jonas and Fan will just be able to create the space between himself and the enemy and backs himself up to the tier 1. Nothing will be found here. Solo, what levels is he seeing at the moment? We see Tiny hitting 6. Solo, he's only just touching on level 5. Top lane, Era and Sealkid catching out the darts here. Still coming up to 9 minutes in. Vega still unable to find themselves a kill level.
This is a disastrous early game, no other way to put it. They do have 4 bottom, they might be able to find something here.
Pressure onto Jonas and Fan. It's going to be the tombstone drop down. Soulrip topping up the axe. They can't kill the axe. A disruption will actually hold Tiny in place, but Hellspawn most certainly setting up something for the other side, because NRP, they're here in full force. They're going to look to try and bring down the Tiny. He's getting low, he's trying to run away, but he's running through zombies. He goes down here. The rest of the side of Vega will escape, but they leave Tiny to hang dry, and he goes down, and Axe now has the money for the Blink Dagger 9 minutes into this game.
This is really bad. They need to try to get their Wisp 6 as soon as possible. Like, they absolutely need that. And with the Blink Dagger timing on the Axe, all he needs to do is let his Tranquil Boots heal him up a little bit. He can go back in. They still have the Undying in the area. He's got plenty of mana at the moment. And they also have a coil that they didn't even have to use to kill the Tiny in the first place.
Solo, he'll have a bit of backup here, and he needs it because there's a wraparound coming from the side of NRP, and they do, of course, have Axe. Jenison Fan on the sidelines with that blink. Solo, he's going to be okay. Axe one doesn't want to blink onto that one.
I really thought he would go on that, actually.
I thought he would, but he wants more. He wants bigger fish. He doesn't want an Aya.
Oh, and is here on the Tiny. This could be really nice. There's an Ion Shell, too. Might be able to look for Era.
Maybe they can get a kill.
I think he dies if he walks into the Tiny.
Avalanche, and with the Iron Shell on the Tiny as well. This is going to be a lot of damage and much too much for Era to deal with. That's the Jara down, and now we see Vega getting themselves onto the board there with a kill. But up against the 10 that NRP have already found, they've still got a long way to go before they climb themselves back into this one.
A couple more kills and I think they'll be okay. It's not like a total catastrophe. It's not like they've lost any towers. Bottom
Nine straight out the Static Storm there, so a little bit off point there with the skills from Disruptor. Sealkid unable to trap the fish.
That was actually very nice by Pasha because he knew that the Disruptor wanted the glimpse, so he stuns him, and then the glimpse wouldn't have sent him back in the storm because of the time that it took him to get out of the stun in of itself. So it was a pretty cool play. Small things, but he manages to live through a 3-man gank. Not bad.
We are going to see Mag now has now finished up this mechanism on the Darkseer. So 11 minutes in, still a very respectable timing, and with that they will have the ability to go a little bit more aggressive. IO, of course, with the relocates, we're yet to see a massive relocate gank of sorts, but it's there and available for Vega if they want to use it.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more action here. The thing is, the Axe wants to be the one who initiates team fights with that Blink Dagger, but if you're not jumping in on the Tiny IO, you're kind of putting yourself at risk for just getting counter-ganked and losing a really bad engagement at your Nip. So it is a bit scary, and Nip have a 9-kill advantage, but it's only around 2,500 experience in gold. That's a pretty fickle lead at this stage in the game.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, it's even less, actually. It's quite a bit less.
Yes, it's closing back towards the 0 point, and I mean the map control as well in the terms of towers. So you got to remember that the side of Vega, they've taken the top tier 1, whereas NIP are yet to really pressure any of the lanes on the side of Vega. So it's definitely one of those games that the kills, even though as flashy as it looks in terms of differences, that's not the biggest thing. Anderson Man tries to go for a TP out here, will get caught out, and that's going to be the second kill here for Vega, bringing down the sacks.
They know the relocate's there. Mag's up top here, has the mech. Coil dropped.
Yeah, he's going to just look to this. He doesn't get out of this one, does he? No, of course he doesn't. Glimpse is there to bring him down. Solo's coming to try and help out with Tiny, but now Io's got to run. He gets taken down by Handscan. The cooldown won't connect onto the Tiny. He keeps it out. Very nice. The second land does catch him out. Now be enough to hold him in place as they bring him down as well. So 13 for 2. More kills on the board here for NIP. Vega did find the axe, but at the cost of 3 heroes in the top lane.
Yeah, it was a nice movement there from Nip. They had actually smoked before the relocate even went off. They had a ward that faded in their own jungle that saw Vega walking into the woods. So they knew that they were going for some kind of counterplay when they smoked up. It's just they happened to know that the Wisp had relocated and they walked right into it. So very fortuitous timing here from Nip.
Yeah, Vega at 9 Pasha. He's got his Blink Dagger now on the Slardar, so potentially there's going to be the praise coming out with the Amplifier's vision being able to set up the relocate ganks and then enabling Slardar to jump in as well from the sidelines. Vega have a very strong potential in terms of catching people out on NIP.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you got relocate, you got a blink Slardar. There's so many ways you can start an engagement. Even just surging somebody in can be all you need. Like, you don't even have to expend a blink dagger. If you want to surge your Tiny, you just tether to him after that, go for a stun toss combo. Nip playing aggressive here, still gonna go for a little bit of a smoke. Now, the relocate is a short cooldown, so they have to know that this is available. I think they're just looking for the Tiny Wisp, because if you find that combo, it means that no matter what, you cannot be relocated on. They're always going to be relocating defensively, which is kind of a nice peace of mind to have when you're playing against that composition. And because they're pushing into a tower, and Era has so much experience playing Tiny Io when he used to play with No Tail on Fnatic, that he understands how it works. He's like, if we find them in the woods, we know they can't relocate on us to defend their tier 1. So there's a nice little bit of movement there. They don't find anyone, as Vega are pretty much assuming the Nip side of the map at the moment, and maybe looking to try to counter pressure. Oh, they're gonna find Limp. Smoke breaks, but Pasha goes the wrong way. It is nighttime.
He's gonna find the Limp now. ASUS the All Forward might find the kill. He went ripped as well. Seamless Lazy protected by the slithering close to 9 Pasha. The Dream Coil just catching Shadow Demon on the end of it. Limp's found himself a kill, but he might get brought down here by the Io, and he certainly will do. And the dump's gonna be there from Axis. A 2 for 1. Make that a 3 for 1 as Disruptor finding himself a killing spree, dismantling the side of Vega. I mean, at least they get the puck kill, but still a trade that Vega aren't going to be that happy with at all.
Well, that's what happens when you use your Wisp as catapults, more or less. You just use them as ammunition and throw them into a puck to kill. That wasn't really the best kind of engagement to take, because they opened up a hero who is very elusive, and they overcommit past the tier 1 to try to kill just him. And you're playing into Blink Initiators, and again, the Tiny and the Io were present at the fight at the start. That's a big difference than getting relocated on, and also having the capability of just getting a guaranteed stun toss. So Vega not really finding the engagements that they're looking for. They still only killed 1 tower up until this point, and even Era, he's closing in on BKB. And there's that point in the mid game where Gyro is an absolute monster, because you can't just burst him down anymore. And his flat cannon plus that level 2 call down are going to do some serious work in these team fights.
Yeah, I mean, BKB is going to be pretty huge in these fights, as you said. And, as long as they can keep time and start our way. Going to find some action here. He's just able to walk it off, tries to turn around with the dunk. It won't be there. And now Vega, they're picking up the heroes of NIP. Lim will be able to face shit this one out. He is still alive. The tombstone's being dropped. Puck trying to get himself away from the darks here. Darkseer trying to chase down, but Puck's still alive. Lim's going to live through it all. There'll be a cross shot to Era. But everything will go down. They do find the gyrocopter here. They might lose time for this one as he's getting caught out. Lim goes back in. Oh, he goes back into the avalanche though. Lim gets the kill but pays with his life. Ends up being a 3 for 4 trade, so NIP still, well, in terms of gold gaining, it's slightly more for Vega. The amount of kills obviously favoring the side of NIP, but they lose quite a lot for what they get there.
Yeah, the Tiny got a lot out of that fight. 800 gold. It's not too bad. I mean, yeah, you traded a 3 for 4, and your Shadow Demon is the only one who made it out of that engagement completely unscathed, but they did kill Era. So they're delaying his BKB a bit, and they ended up getting lucky, even though he died afterwards. Ooh, that
Fred on the horns in. They're trying to get themselves close to personal. It's just the Iron Shadow Demon here. Do they have the damage required? Solid will top Hans get back off, and now the call, but he's not going to catch him. Ryan Patrick, he's blinked in onto Hanskin. He's got caught in the Static Storm and the Kinetic Field. They found the Claw of the Undying. Pasha getting chopped up by Solo here on the Iron. They will be able to get him out of the corner. And there's the dump. They do find the kill onto Slido. They look for Solo. They get him as well. Now the call onto no one. There's actually a buyback from Solo. Maybe trying to get himself back into the fight, but what's he going to do? They've already lost the Tiny. They've already lost the Slido. It's a double kill for Jonas and Fan on this axe. And, well, again, another very favorable trade for the side of Vega. As an NIP, so.
That was very, very... It was a weird engagement because Vega start off on a very tanky hero. Oh, Coil on
Hello, Seema. He disrupts himself.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's very dead. There's also an Axe coming in to pick this one off, and he's going to stack. There we go. There's your dunk. Killing spree for Axe. Jonas and Fan, he's had his ups and downs over the league play, his games that we've seen recently, but this game, making a lot of magical things happen on the Axe.
Yeah, he's been on point with his blink initiations. He's missed like 1 or 2 calls, I think, but when he's actually needed, he's always been there. So definitely think that he's found a niche and an initiator type hero. And to fight mid, like they initiate on the Undying next to a tier 1 tower. And the Undying has like 1200 HP and a casual cloak without like any stacks of decay. Is very hard to kill. And there was no follow-up damage that quickly because the Slardar wasn't arranged to stun until after the purge had almost already worn off. So not quite on the same page, Vega, this game. It's kind of uncharacteristic to see them making these kind of, not necessarily even miscommunication plays, just not being there on time.
It is, as you said. We've seen very good things from Vega recently. In this game, it's definitely seems to be one that they're struggling within. 7 to 24 at the moment, 18.5 minutes in. And in fact, if we have a look at the graph now, is the difference becoming a little bit greater? Obviously, it wasn't that huge earlier. Yeah, it's starting to establish itself. Around 7.5k in terms of XP and gold. I mean, it's still not something that's irrecoverable. The side of Vega could still very much climb back through that.
Yeah, they can actually come back. Like the kill lead is a bit misleading because it's not a gigantic advantage because not everyone is getting like a lesser amount of farm. If you look at the CS, the Darkseer, the Tiny, and the Slardar are all farming at a decent rate, about on par with the Axe and the Gyrocopter. And they actually have lost only 1 more tower than Nip have. So it's not really that big of a difference. It's just the fact that they keep having these fights where they're not actually where they need to be at the given point. And Nip looking to push their advantage here. They're smoked up behind the tier 1 tower top lane. And they know Mag is in the vicinity, but he is a very hard kill. They're also going to drop a very aggressive ward.
Who do they find in it? They're heading back towards the mid lane. Tiny and Io would be nice, but Solo, of course, does have to relocate.
They kind of needed the Axe. I don't know why they didn't smoke with the Axe. Like, this particular gank is not that good.
Yeah, and it doesn't, as you said, they're not going to find anything off the back of it either here, the side of NIP.
Like, if Jonas had been there, they would have been able to, like, YOLO win because he has Force Staff and Blink. And if you catch the Tiny Io, that's the best pairing to catch in the entire team. Because you can just kill the Wisp right away. Fight is just one.
Well, here comes the push onto the tier 2 era, standing his ground. There was a toss from Tiny there trying to scare him off. Yeah, it's going to be enough to stem the aggression for this moment in time. NIP backing themselves up. 9 Pasha was finding himself a bit of farm here on this bottom lane. As the trades now on top of the Blink. Sitting out on 5.8k gold. Just some tasty stacks here for the side of NIP to take from Vega.
What is this, stack number 2 that they've managed to get? I mean, I don't know, man. This is... It's not insurmountable, like you said, but it's getting to the point where Vega just haven't really been able to take a single favorable engagement.
Mag, he's on a little bit of a road trip here. He's got the back of the Tiny and Io. Eric's going to need a few minutes. Will come down, will connect just onto Solo. They're trying to chase down this Io here. He's going to be able to take Tiny back out in a few seconds. It looks like that's going to be the case. There's going to be the call on to 9 Pasha. Do they have anything to bring down this Slardar? Solo's there with the back of the Solo will actually take Slardar out. Leaves Mag and no one to get themselves out on their own. Mid lane, 9 Pasha's been caught out by Limp here, and the damage, is it going to be enough? He will get glimpse back as well. There's nowhere for this Slardar to run. He's going to try his best here with the sprint, but it's not enough. He gets taken down for 40 seconds without buyback available.
As Solo tried to save him, actually killed him. Because if he didn't relocate, he would have just sprinted to the left, up the hill, been fine. Tiny was there as well, so he could have saved him if that was necessary, and Mag was also in the vicinity as well. So he actually relocated him to a point where he was just dead. That was very, very unfortunate. So they are going to get the tier 2 in the safe lane.
Yeah, there's a fan on the top lane as well. That's the call here onto no one.
Punch the towers.
Dream call as well. They're stand up the fight, but there's the backup of the IO. Soda's already tethered up to no one. And Tiny, he's punching. Limp and Jonas and Han have to be a little bit careful here. And they're doing that themselves. He's saying space and time created for the side of NIP as they look to finish off Roshan. We're going to see Darkseer, Shadow Demon, and Slaughter head towards the pit, but if they get there in time, they might be able to contest this one. And Nightcrusher goes straight in. BKB's going to be popped by air, and the Standing Storm will catch and trap the fish. Slaughter goes down here. Mag, he just stands there and looks on in awe. He will get defensively disrupted by Seaman the Slayer, but he's just held in place. Will find a very nice vacuum, bringing Hanskin up to the high ground, but Mag still pops. He goes down here on this fight. It's going to be the Yule Scepter from Limp, holding Seaman the Slayer in place. He's trapped in the party ring. His party's over. He's down. 3 heroes falling on Vega, and now NIP will just get back to Roshan and say, back to work, boys. That's the Aegis there for him.
I thought they were going to relocate the Wisp and attack in, but just didn't end up happening. Maybe his relocate was off cooldown until the fight was pretty much already lost, and now Tiny getting caught. There is a relocate.
There is, and they'll use it.
Yeah, Wisp sacrificing his...
where's the little ball? I think there it is. It's hiding like behind the cliff. It's just there's a little dot there. There we go, yeah. So he's coming back. Jonas and fans prepared. Well,
see you later, Solo.
So
we will sing Tales of Your Valley.
Jonas and fan there with the BM dunk. It's looking good for NIP.
It's kind of funny because even with this kind of a kill lead, like they are 22 kills ahead, and we've just now exceeded the 10,000 experience lead, like with 22 extra kills. That's a huge amount of kills to have and not be farther ahead than they are. And I think that's actually credit to the fact that Vegas still are able to farm under the pressure. It's just, again, they're not able to really get the fights. With a Tiny and a Wisp, you always see the Tiny doing, like, even that game a long time ago before League play started when Sing was like 0-5. He came back with phase boots and a blink and managed to get like 10 kills back to back just because stun toss combo is that good. But it just never happened for Vega. Whatever the case, Nip looking very strong here. They have tons of aggressive warding out and Vega's side of the map, and they're ready. They're always just looking for team fights, getting good blink initiations from the Axe, and the game continues like this. Vega are in some serious trouble.
Yeah, Limp's going to be working onto the Aghanim Scepter, as you were talking about in the draft, now on top of the Yule Scepter, and it's not got that long to go for it. Just under 1,500 gold now for the puck.
Yeah, the Aghanims is going to be such a nightmare. Like, the Slardar needs BKB, but when he gets BKB, there's already going to be an Aghanim. Tiny's kind of in the same boat. So when you get coiled as those two melee heroes who kind of have to chase in, it's going to be really easy for Nip to just kite you around. Like, normally you would almost have your BKB by now, given a perfect scenario, right? Like, your Slardar has a Blink Dagger and 1,300 gold and a win health, but without the BKB, you saw what happened to him when he went in the pit. He just got caught in a Static Storm and just flopped over. Sprint makes you take way too much damage against these types of teams.
Oh, there's a dream call for the Slardar. And onto the IO, Static Storm gets broken up, but IO was able to get the relocate off, brings the Tiny out, leaves Night Pasha as he goes down here on the Slardar. There's going to be glimpse, but they'll catch up. They'll go for him as well. They'll bring down the Darkseer. They're double kill for Error, and now IO returns with the relocate. We'll find it out forward to the range creepers. Not enough. He's going to fall also. 3 heroes going down again on Vega. NIP this time losing absolutely nothing. Not the back of that. They're ready to push and ready to maybe even take the fight to the high ground here in the mid lane.
That's looking kind of scary. They probably pressure the tier 2. Not sure if they go high ground. It just doesn't... I don't know what Vega can do. There's just so many times where you think that they might be able to get something done, and Nip just seem to be one step ahead. They always get the extra bonus kill with the Disruptor glimpsing somebody back. It's just a very, very strong performance out of Nip, and I'm kind of happy to see it because the last couple of days they haven't been looking so hot.
They haven't. I mean, I believe they're the side that's in a gaming house, and aren't they? So
yeah, they're landing.
You know, they're... What's the word, Andy?
I don't know what word you're looking for.
The word when a team gets together and practices before a LAN.
What, boot camp?
Boot camp.
I was like, what is he actually talking about?
They've been boot camping,
yes.
and it's working. It obviously wasn't evident in the first few games we saw them in, but now they're doing very well against Vega. And Vega recently, a side that you've got to be impressed with if you can do well against them, because Vega have been very strong.
Yeah, that's true. Gonna see the puck scouting out here with Invis.
Limp. He's got the dreams going. It's doesn't even need it. Shiny. He runs himself around the ring, but he falls as well. It's an unstoppable kill streak here for Disruptor. And again.
Yeah, this is it's not great.
Wow.
Fairly one-sided in terms of kills. It's interesting to see Vega, like,
they're farming well.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like, they're still farming well even in this circumstance. I mean, yeah, you're 27 kills behind, you're 15,000 gold behind, but their CS is still pretty much on par with what NiP have. The issue is they have been so uncoordinated in their engagements this game. It gets so crazy to me that they're actually the same team that we saw earlier. It's very different. I don't know if NiP are just outplaying it badly or if Vega are just having an off game.
Bottom tower has fallen.
I don't know, man. I mean, how do you stop them at this point? They're all grouped up here on the bottom lane. The side of Vega, they've got the Darkseer and the SD up on top, but they're going to have to come back for the defense because Aaron, he's knocking on their doors here, up to the high ground, onto the tier 3. Okay. And why not? The side of NIP, if they're going to react to this one, they're going to leave Era there. They're going to send back Lim. And Jonas and Phantom, the Disruptor Seal Kid. Oh, he finds a cool off the side. What's behind there? Did Mario just really get on his own? Oh, he the table was out. Oh, okay. He still might get out. No, there's a call. Okay, no one's going down here as well. Your timing will drop. Mac tries to TP out. He will get away. But IO heading back to base on his own.
Not the best. Not exactly what he wanted, I'm sure. Now, as grim as this game looks, Pasha almost has his BKB.
Okay.
Now, the thing with NiP's team is that a lot of their damage is comprised of magic because they have Undying, they have Gyrocopter, they have Disruptor, they have Puck. Now, yeah, the coil's still going to hold him in place, but he's not going to explode the damage. So he might be able to get something done with the BKB. It's going to be tough, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen a game with a kill difference this big in the entire league. We're 36-8. This is an absolute bloodbath favouring the side of NIP this game, 29 minutes in. But the thing is, it still feels like Vega they've got a little spark, you know, something that they can work with here, and they could still take a fight against NIP if they get the initiation, but it's going to be so hard to do at this point.
High ground defense.
NIP have.
High ground defense is good when you have Darkseer. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Maybe Mag gets like a Blink Dagger. Maybe they get a nice Blink into a Sardar stun or a Blink into an Avalanche toss, and that can be pretty fight winning, even as far ahead as NiP are at this stage, which is like really, really far ahead.
Yeah, your Blink on Darkseer now picked up.
Yeah. So, I don't know, is anyone really going to even die to that combo? Everyone on NiP is fairly tanky. Like, the person with the lowest HP is a Disruptor, and he won't be anywhere near the front line. He even has a Glimmer Cape, and they're going to catch Seema bottom as well.
He tries to TP out, the glimpses there. Seema the Slayer becomes Seema the Slayer.
Nice. Got him.
Got him indeed.
Hashtag got him. All right, so Roshan, gonna see how long the timer is in about a minute, actually less, more like 40 seconds. If it's a short Roshan, I think NiP just get it immediately. Vega could potentially sneak it if they can pressure the lanes out a bit, because they do have Slardar. So they can smoke up, maybe try to go for a sneak Roshan, but the warding from NiP is so aggressive right now. They see all of the woods. BKB from Jonas.
He is a little bit... Jonas and fan over this, he likes his premature BKB, doesn't he?
Well, he's a bit trigger happy, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, the thing is, they only had vision of Vega's side of the map, and he saw a Blink Initiator and nothing else. Like, no one was even showing on lane. So I actually get the fact that he BKB'd there.
Yeah. Fair point, fair point. Roshan will be back up in 1 minute and a half, so it is going to be a shorter respawn.
Yeah.
Which, as you said, NRP could very much look to take. BKB has been picked up by Slada, ready for the next fight, but this is going to be quite something if the side of Vega are able to swing this one back in their favor now, in a game that it just seems they're so far behind in terms of kills. The net worth isn't as bad as it could be in terms of differences.
It's pretty bad.
It's not great.
It's definitely pretty bad. Fortunately for Vega, they are still a very experienced team, and because of that, they're still able to pressure out the lanes. They're not just getting kind of asphyxiated like we see a lot of teams do. Take basically Unknown in the first series today. They were just kind of sitting in their base and letting Vega do whatever they wanted. Vega are still out and about on the map. They're still trying to be active. They're not just sitting there and letting them go gently into that good night.
I mean, no one on the Tiny. He's closing in on his BKB. He's got the Mifraham Yoga Club, coming out to 500 gold towards his recipe. So maybe with the BKBs, that is the time that Vega can look to try and find some kind of action.
It is. The BKBs completely stop the Disruptor combo from being a problem. And I gotta say, the Disruptor has kind of been the problem, I feel, for Vega's lineup. There's been so many glimpses into extra kills, and oh my god, Roshan's gonna spawn like right as they're here. No, Seema's leaving the pit. It's so close. Just stand there.
Seema, stay there.
He's gonna see it spawn. It's like almost 100%. Yeah.
Now, do they go for it?
Well, after seeing all the TPs back, probably not. But they could go for some kind of bait, I guess, if they wanted to.
We're going to see IO CP back up here to the top lane and Tiny as well, but they do indeed have that relocate if they want to come back and contest Roshan, because NIP, they might look to take it themselves when they become aware that it is up.
If you give it up, though, you might as well just be saying, like, GG, because that's going to be a base push. And even with Vega having their BKBs up, they won't have buybacks for a very long time because they have to spend all their money on BKB to win the fight. And then they have to continue farming to get buyback on top of their BKB, which I don't know if they'll have time for.
Here we go. This is going to be the test between these two sides. As NIP go to Roshan. Vega, are they going to be ready to contest this one? Let's have a look. Tiny and IO, they've got the Darkseer's in the nearby. Shadow Demon and Slaughter a little bit further away. Maybe Vega just let this one go.
I guess that's the choice. I mean, I guess the mentality that they have is, if we're gonna play it safe, we might as well just still the best shot we have, even if they have ages. Because fighting in the pit right now, the Tiny had just finished his BKB. And in order for them to fight, everyone would have already had to have been in position waiting this whole time, and then waiting for the BKB to fly out to the Tiny and then relocate it. But that's not the case, as Aaron is going to secure himself another Aegis here. And he is going for the Silver Edge, which against Tiny isn't too bad, I guess. The thing with Gyrocopter is sometimes you can find yourself in range of Craggy because you only have 365 attack range. So if you just hit him with the Silver Edge, he loses, what, 5 armor? And he loses his ability to Craggy, so it's not too bad, I guess.
Vega heading straight up towards this top lane, maybe seeing if they could catch out Lim. I mean, at this point of the game, are Vega better just to look for the split push action rather than the full-on 5-man fight?
Oh, absolutely. Like, you want a split push. That's the bread and butter of a Wisp Tiny. You play off the map, you split push lanes. If a fight breaks out somewhere else on the map, you just relocate it. If they come to you, that's kind of where the problem starts. As if you get hunted as the Wisp Tiny, that's the thing that makes your lineup not maybe work as well as you want it to. But with the Slardar actually having a BKB now in level 16, they have the ability of taking somebody down very fast. Like minus 20 armor with a Tiny, beating on you with a double damage bottled. There is some serious potential for teamfight coming out from Vega right now. This is maybe the biggest power spike they've had in the entire game, just because of their item timing.
Unison fan on the axis now picks himself up a Shiva's guard, so even more tanky here on the big old brute. And Vega still very much set on getting some action going on this top lane. They've got 4 heroes up there. He's going to find a little bit of an error. That's Ken and Silk here. Will bring down Shadow Demon. And wants to kill streak for the Disruptor. He's having a good game.
Yeah, they're backdooring though. This Wisp Tiny was so fast. He has a double damage too.
Goes forward with the waning rift onto Solo. Unison fan is logging in to call onto the eye. The mech from Mag giving Solo some kind of safety, but it doesn't matter. The dunk from Mag finishes him off, and no one he's just stunned by the coil. Yeah, the coil itself. How long now? 6 seconds. 1.5 seconds. Well, he certainly felt that one. Double kill for Axe as they clean up there on the top lane. They do end up losing the Undying, but base is defended. And
that double damage was like the dream for the Tiny, and unfortunately for Nolan, he had to BKB it off just to try to get out of that engagement, and then he got 4.5 seconds stun from the coil.
That's a long stun.
Dude, it's brutal.
That's like the same as a Max Mirana arrow, or?
It's like 0.5 seconds longer on the arrow, but yeah, it's still. The fact that the coil lingers for so long, yeah, it's 8 seconds separate coil duration. So for 8 seconds, you literally cannot leave unless you TP out.
He's got to run. Error, Limp, and Silky chasing him down. I don't know if the Slaughter gets himself out of this one. He's going to look to try. Does you think Solo coming in as well to help him? He will find a blink. Limp also blinks forward, catching out Solo and Seema the Slayer here with the waning rift. The missile will continue to chase Pasha to the base, but he will be able to top himself up in the health department. And they won't find a killer, but still 9 for 40 between these two sides. This is... I mean, Andy, have you got any words?
It's painful for Vega.
Here we go. Back on for the side. Let's see if Vega still have it in them to do something about this massive lead that NRP have managed to achieve over the last 37 minutes here of this game. Yeah, the net worth now is over 25,000. Yeah, XP as well, over 25,000. So the back door, that's the potential that they've got to look for here, Andy.
Now the backdoor is real, for sure, with this lineup. I think he might just... If you were going to do that, you probably go back for a Hyperstone or Mask of Madness or something, just to try to maximize your damage potential. The issue they're going to have, though, is trying to push the lanes out when no one is visible on mid. Because there are so many blink initiators now, and ways to catch, that if you show, and no one on NIP is showing on the map, then you have a potential of just getting picked before the fight even starts, and that cannot happen.
Well, Tombstone's going to get dropped here as NRP, they're ready to try and take a set of racks. The fortification from the side of Vega will come out. And Mag potentially looking for wraparounds here. Find the vacuum on two walls. Two wall shots as well. How much possibly getting himself in? Error's been caught out. The static storm is taken for the happy drop. And the Dream as well off to Tiny. They've lost the Darks here. They're potentially going to lose Seema the Slays. Defensively disrupts himself. No one just tried to TP out. Will actually be able to get himself out here on the Tiny. They've only lost the Darks here, but they will indeed lose these racks as well. They do end up losing Seema the Slayer as Link chases that one down on the pub. The two heroes down. The bottom racks to fall as well. NIP still coming out very much in maybe not if they're hanging around too long. Error's getting low. We'll try and find him, but the life still onto no one. Looks to kill Solo here onto the IO. Will find it. Solo tries to do a little bit of relocate out of the party ring. Aegis will get popped on Error. He's back around to nice vacuum onto free, and with the hits, but it doesn't matter because Tiny's dead, and that is a huge amount of damage out. We've got, well, hang on, they've got 9 Pacha, who suddenly finds himself a double kill, but they're getting caught out. Error's still there, hitting away, chipping away. Triple kill for Error. GG, well played, it's called. 39 minutes in, the game ends 11 to 46. NIP finally able to bring Vega down.
Have you ever heard the expression, don't play 1,000 covers?
Who's that?
It's like an old... I don't know 100% if it's a Chinese proverb or not, but it sounds like something that would be, right?
Trust the Chinese.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what happened to Vega this game. It's just a ton of little things that went wrong.
Yeah.
Just ended up becoming, okay, well, now all of a sudden, the enemy team has like a 20,000 golden experience lead. For the first 15 to 20 minutes, it wasn't going amazing.
No.
But there was only like a 2,000 or 3,000 gold lead and an experience lead. That's like one team fight, maybe two, right? You can come back from that. And